op-ed today is titled "The Ruling Highlights the Dire Loss of Democracy in America." And I start out with this of extraordinary bravery in the New York Assembly, their equivalent of the House of Representatives in the state of New York, back in 1970. And back in 1970, you had this yesterday afternoon, didn't I, Sean? Yeah. I played the clip from the YouTube, which is embedded in my article today. So I guess I foreshadowed this, but a member of the New York Assembly who, in an extraordinary bit of what would you call it, bravery. Excuse me. The title is not just the fate of abortion or Democrats at stake. Democracy hangs in the balance. He said, this guy, Al Blumenthal was his name, the New York Assemblyman. He said, in the last 367 young women in New York City were known to have died as the result of an illegal abortion or an attempted one. Could we have saved 367 young women from dying if we had not imposed on them our sense of morality to them? And I insist on using the word condemned to the butchery of the side streets of Harlem. Well, they had the vote in that, and when they held the vote, it was tied, which meant that the legislation to decriminalize abortion in New York, which would be the first state, this was 1970, to decriminalize abortion, would have failed. So what happened was a Catholic representative, his name is George Michael, representing a largely Catholic district, stood up and said, quote, "I had hoped this would never come to pass." He had, by the way, already voted no. Keep it illegal. He said, "I had hoped this would never come to pass. I fully appreciate that this is my political career. But what's the use of getting elected or reelected if you don't stand for something?" And as is cocked, Assemblyman Michael said, "I therefore request you, Mr. Speaker, to change my negative vote to an affirmative vote." And thus, New York became the first state in the United States in 1970. My point in telling this story, that I've been making for some consideration, and that is that there are two Democratic senators, and of course all 50 Republicans, but we know that they are completely sold out. But we have two corrupt Democratic senators, Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema. Up until recently, I've been saying, well, we don't want to piss them off, Republicans. I have reached the point now where I believe that if they became Republicans, it might be the best thing. Mitch McConnell taking over the Senate will mobilize millions of Democrats to get to the polls this fall. And I'm just over it with this absolutely impotent leadership in the United States Senate, Democratic leadership in the Senate. Chuck Schumer will read a speech and send out a press release that is unreadable. And that's it. Lyndon Johnson would have kicked these two people's asses all the way down Pennsylvania Avenue. He would have he would have ended their committee assignments. He would have taken away Joe Manchin's leadership position. He would have done something. I'm telling you, if Chuck Schumer and Democratic leadership doesn't start taking names and kicking asses, we're going to lose. Yesterday, NPR had a young voter on saying, "Oh, Democrats never put Roe into law because they want to fundraise off it." This is the kind of cynicism that is hurting our party.